I hope this is the last time I have to say this, but Halloween Kills comes out this year. I was going to hold off on posting this video till tomorrow, but then I thought about it and realized that you're probably here watching this video for the same reason that I'm making it, which is I want to get away from the outside world and think about a guy dressed up as William Shatner in a boiler suit running around and murdering some teenagers. And for those of you who are wondering where I was for the past month, I really just needed a break. I'm sure you guys noticed this, but all of the Halloween news pretty much wrapped up after Halloween Day, and once Scream 5 stopped filming, all of the news stopped happening for Scream 5, and on top of that, the amount of work we had to put in to Happy Halloween to get it up by October 15th was insane. We made that whole movie in just over a month, and I would not recommend doing that in the future for anyone else who's thinking about making a short film. But long story short, I was exhausted. There was no news. I needed a break, so I decided to take one. I hope it wasn't too terrible for you guys, but it really helped me out a lot. All right, so if you guys remember, towards the end of the summer last year when we had basically no marketing material for Halloween Kills, I think it was around the time that the movie got delayed, I was talking about this Total Film article that had an interview with David Gordon Green and possibly a set visit from the movie that was also supposedly going to have some screenshots from Halloween Kills. I said that if that came out and we saw those screenshots from the movie, we would know that the marketing was just going to be stretched out instead of full on delayed into 2021. Lo and behold, the article came out. There were no pictures. There was just the interview with David Gordon Green, and it was 2 small snippets. So skip ahead to this morning, and the picture from that article was allowed to be re-released with the quotes from David Gordon Green, but not the entire thing. But it is a very cool image. We get a full top to bottom, pretty well lit shot of Michael Myers standing there with a knife. He's got the burn mask, he's covered in blood, and just based on a few things I'm gonna talk about in a second, I think this is actually from pretty deep in the movie. Obviously, the first thing we have to talk about is the mask and the changes that were made to it. So going into Halloween Kills, we were all kind of wondering, are they going to have a burn mask that's totally melted? Are we gonna see more of Michael's face? Because they did show it a few times in Halloween 2018, or were they just kind of like gonna singe the sides of it a little bit, give it a charred look, but not totally have it be a melted mask as it probably would be in real life for anyone who went through what he did at the end of that movie. Then the teaser we got on Halloween in 2020 happened, and we realized that yeah, they're going for a more subtle look that definitely does look different than Halloween 2018, but it's very similar, and I'm happy for that. We've all seen what happens when you change the mask too much, which is exactly what we got in Rob Zombie's Halloween 2, and man, I did not like when the mask was falling apart and you could see most of Tyler Mane's face. That was just too far, and it kind of just made him not feel like Michael Myers. And I'm sure they went back and looked at that footage and just said, yeah, we're not doing that. We're just gonna keep him looking how we had him looking, but he's gonna be like a battle damaged variant of Michael, and I'm totally fine with that. It's also really cool to see him again from top to bottom covered in soot and char and just a ton of blood. We know from the interviews and just what everyone's been saying about this movie that it's going to have a ton of kills in it, but because there hasn't been any marketing, we haven't really seen any proof of that. But just the way Michael looks standing at the top of those stairs, very reminiscent of Halloween 1978, but again covered in blood. It's exactly what I wanted to see. This movie's going to have all out carnage, and I am very excited to see that. One thing I did notice that people also keep bringing up is that the knife he's holding is totally pristine, which obviously after what he went through in the last movie and what he's presumably going through in this movie, it should be covered in a little bit of like blood. I won't say gore, because if there was like hair and a chunk of skull on that thing, that would look a little weird because it's a smooth surface, but you know, it would be at least a little bit bloody. And what I'm thinking is this picture was supposed to come out last year. We all know that. It was supposed to come out around when they were deciding to delay the movie or not. It wasn't finished at the time. Maybe they just forgot to touch it up, and Total Film got the okay to release the image they already had. I'm assuming that the knife is going to look a lot more bloody in the movie. Another cool thing about this image is that it actually connects to one of the shots from another teaser we got where Allison is looking up a staircase screaming in terror, and we now know why. Michael Myers is at the top of that staircase holding a knife, and he looks absolutely terrifying. What makes that so cool though is that I'm at least 90 to 95% sure the house that they're in during this scene is the Myers house, the house where Michael Myers grew up. If you remember, almost exactly a year ago, I did a video here on the channel where I talked about whether or not I thought the Myers house would be returning in Halloween Kills, because it was kind of weirdly absent in Halloween 2018. I feel like they got away with it because the plot didn't really call for him to head home, because he got out pretty much on Halloween and then just went on his killing rampage. But knowing that Michael survived Laurie's house and he's making his way back to Haddonfield, which is a small town, I basically said that yeah, it was going to show up, and then people started talking to me who were in the know, or whatever you say. Like, I guess I have a source or something. I don't flex sources a lot because people talk to me all the time and they say, oh yeah, I totally know that Michael Myers is going to walk in with a 50 cal and shoot a baby in the head in the next movie. I guarantee it. And then lo and behold, that's not true. People come to me with that all the time. It's almost always wrong. But enough people that I know and trust came to me around that time and they were like, yeah, dude, you're going to see the Myers house in Halloween Kills. It looks sweet. Get excited for it. And just looking back at the intro of Halloween 1978 and looking at the front of the Myers house, I think these shots where Michael Myers is at the top of the stairs and Allison is at the bottom are actually going to be in the Myers house. You can see a pole right through that front door behind Allison that looks almost exactly like the one that's in the Myers house in Halloween 1978. And just knowing that we are going to see it at some capacity in the movie, I feel like if Allison has to confront Michael in his own house while Laurie is in the hospital and can't protect her, that's going to create some nice tension, some nice drama. It's going to be scary, and that's exactly what I want to see. And if you're still not convinced, the fact that we're getting a flashback to 1978 is what seals the deal on whether or not we're going to see the Myers house. We know that Hawkins is coming back so they can do a flashback to when Myers was arrested, because that's what they were going to show in Halloween 2018, and they ultimately decided against it. We know that if they want to do the atmosphere and recreate the feeling of 1978 right, they got to show the Myers house because it was such an important part of that movie. And just overall, they want to hit us in the nostalgia feels. They want to make us feel like this movie is taking place in Halloween. And what better way to do that than by showing us Michael Myers' house? I think it's gonna happen, guys. I'm pretty excited about it. And at this point, you're probably like, how the hell does he have this much to say about one image? And it's not totally about the image, it's also about what it signifies. So we already mentioned how it was pulled at the last second last year from a magazine where it was going to be shown because they were moving the marketing cycle all the way to this year. So what it says to me that we're actually seeing the image now is that we are going to see Halloween Kills in 2021 no matter what. I remember last year I did a ton of videos where I said, hell no, I don't want them to release it on streaming services at the end of 2020 on the release date. I didn't think that was a good idea at the time because when COVID started, we all thought it was just gonna last a few months and theaters would be open and we'd all be able to go see Halloween Kills on the big screen exactly how we wanted to. Cut to around a year later, and that is not the case. I'm really hopeful, I'm crossing my fingers, I don't want to jinx it, that we will be able to see it in theaters safely by the end of the year, but Jason Blum and other people involved with the movie have confirmed that no, if they can't release it in theaters at the end of this year on the scheduled release date, they'll just put it on PVOD and then they'll hopefully make enough money on it for them to make Halloween Ends. That's what I'm crossing my fingers for, but the fact that we're seeing this image from Total Film basically confirms that, yeah, they are very confident that they're releasing the movie at the end of this year. Another question this raises is what's going on with Halloween Ends, and as far as I'm aware, that movie hasn't started shooting yet, and we don't have to worry about that at all, mostly because it's really hard to shoot a movie right now. You've got to have people getting tested like 3 times a day. You have to have a lot of people in a small space, and Halloween movies, I'm not sure if you heard this, aren't the biggest budget ones around, so it's just added complication that they don't really have to deal with. Because think about it, Halloween Kills was originally supposed to come out on October 15th, 2020, so they started shooting it around August or September of 2019. So going by that logic, they don't really have to start shooting Halloween Ends until August or September of this year, and just crossing my fingers once again, COVID will hopefully be wrapped up by that point. So to take all these pieces and put them together, I think it's officially safe for us to get excited about Halloween Kills. Universal and Blumhouse are obviously ready to go with the movie. They're allowing marketing to come out this early in the game. They of course already have a novelization, NECA figures, masks from Trick or Treat Studios, probably ready to go, so I'm sure we'll start seeing announcements about that stuff pretty soon, and I'll have tons of videos to make about it. And before I wrap up the video, I wanted to talk about some of my goals for the channel in 2021. So going into last year, I really wanted to find my core style of video. I wanted to get the best video quality. I wanted to get this office set up with all this cool lighting. I wanted to nail down a thumbnail format, and I think I finally got there towards the end of the year. And also making the Halloween fan film was another pipe dream goal I set for myself, and I actually did it. So for this year, I just want to make more videos. I'm of course going to cover Halloween, Scream, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, any slasher that gets announced I will will talk about it. But one of my big goals for 2021 is to double down on the bigger videos that take a lot more time behind the scenes to really get ready. I made a few of them last year and I was actually blown away by how many of you watched them, because the way YouTube works, if it doesn't have Halloween in the title for me, it won't even feed the video out to the vast majority of you. But I did a video on Terrifier where I talked about why I didn't like it when it came out and then how I started to reappreciate it as time went on. I think it was last year that I did my big, huge video on what makes the Blair Witch Project so scary. I did my Halloween franchise ranking, which I definitely am confident saying I put more work into making pretty much the best ranking on YouTube. I am very confident that that is the most informed, knowledgeable Halloween ranking you'll find on this platform. I loved making all those videos, and my goal for 2021 is to make more of them. And the biggest favor you can do for me is click that notification bell and set them to all. That's really because if I upload any other horror video besides Halloween, YouTube doesn't even feed it out to my subs, but I think I'm making some pretty cool stuff that you're going to want to see. And taking it one step further, when you do get one of those notifications, make sure you click it and give the video a chance, because I think you'll be really excited about what you see. Anyway guys, that's all I have for you today on Halloween Kills. I hope you're staying safe and healthy, and I hope you have a great 2021. As always, my name is Jimmy Champane, and I'll see you in the next one. Shape on.